Dan, I got 3 letters for you.
Oh boy. They're not
3 letters.
GFY, are they? Hobbyist?
Yeah.
Oh, there's the hobbyist.
And there it was again. Yeah. Okay, the 3 letters are DRN. Stands for Didn't Rain Nothing.
Oh, wow. Yeah. As soon as I got that mixed up with DNR, Department of Natural Resources at first.
No.
What? Where is no rain?
0.
Wow, for Ohio.
Yeah.
Crazy.
There was a threat of rain on Saturday, but if you watch the radar, it was amazing. It just split like the Red Sea.
You know why?
Why is that?
Because I was in Wisconsin.
I think that you might be onto something, Dan.
And I was getting rained on in Wisconsin.
Uh-huh.
That is why.
Yeah, okay. The weekend of the International Firewood Expo 2026 was June 5th and 6th in Northeast Ohio at the Trumbull County Fairgrounds in Cortland. And Dan, the entire world converged on Northeast Ohio for the weekend, and it was a great thing.
I've been seeing only little bits and pieces, but everything I've seen so far, it does look like it was another huge success for the International Firewood Expo.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it was a well-received event. The crowds were big and consistent. I think maybe the threatening weather report on Saturday might allowed it to thin out a little bit in the afternoon, but it was steady. My parkers said the parking lot was full the entire time. It was fuller or more full than last year. And a lot of wood was made. A lot of machines were sold. We raised a lot of money for the Trumbull Mobile Meals campaign, and made some other donations along the way too, to a local 4-H organization, to the local high school band. The high school band came out and played the national anthems of Canada, Slovenia, Finland, and the United States.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh.
And they did it on short notice, and some of the band members were already graduates. So they were done with school, but they still came back to do this. And our school out here is very small, like 40 kids per grade. So, the band is small, and but for them to be able to do that and put it together is a big deal. It was nice.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That would be if I was a senior graduated, I don't know. I might say, summer's here, sorry.
Yeah. Take this trombone and yeah.
But there was the other thing I noticed leading up to it. There was a lot more buzz kind of created. I saw you were on the news.
I was
live in studio on the news.
Yeah, that was fun. I saw a green screen for the first time in my life. That was cool.
What color was it?
It was green. I asked them, why do they call it a green screen? They just looked at me kind of funny. I was like, you guys don't know me that well, but whatever. It was a campaign that I had created for our advertising. So I went to our regional TV channels and bought TV time. I really upped the budget this year, and simply because when I look at the expo, you think of the entry fee to get in, but that's Mickey Mouse to these guys. The money that they spend to haul these trucks and trailers and machines across country. They're burning fuel. They're burning payroll because they got to pay these guys and gals. They bring their own skid steers too. That's just another expense. Hotel stays and food and non-alcoholic beverages, because we all know that they're all choir boys and girls. It's it's a lot of money, and they put a lot of effort into it. And I feel as the organizer that I have to come through for them. So my job is to get people to come through that gate. And every year, and I don't know what I'm doing, but every year I'm learning and figuring this stuff out. And I think it paid off, not as much as I was still expecting. We had a really, really nice crowd, bigger than last year's, but I still was wanting more people. So I need to get more creative and think of different ways to get people to attend.
So you were doing more on the promoting and marketing end, but I also noticed then you also did something for those attending this year that I think was different from last year with the program that you had made.
Yes.
So that's another big step up.
Yeah, the program was dynamite. When I was looking at it, I couldn't believe it was like our creation because it looks it looks so professional. Anything I would have made would have been on loose leaf paper with a staple in the upper left hand corner, and magic markered words. But it was Melissa Nagy took the lead with that with Pico Designs, and our guy Fred from Stall Printing, a local printer here. He was there too, and it was just was nice. It was professional, and the companies that bought their ads in it, they were real happy with it. I would expect it. It was 20 pages big. I expect it to be maybe even bigger next year, if there is a next year.
Oh, that's what one of the things on the list here that I have to ask you about, but we'll save
Yeah.
that for later. We'll get
Uh-huh.
to that. So the
Yeah.
programs, you had the program, you had I think was there the same it looked like it was a lot bigger as far as vendors. I saw a few shots on videos on social media from some drones and it just I don't know, it looked like maybe there was the angle, I'm not sure, but it
Yeah.
looked like the
I
vendors were more.
the vendors were just about the same amount as the year before. We had a couple big ones that didn't come this year. I think they had their own reasons. Because I did move the date, and I think it fell on some important family events, like graduations and
Oh,
weddings
yeah.
and stuff. So
Yep.
some people just couldn't come. But the big difference this year is the manufacturers, the exhibitors, each and all of them brought more machines than they did
Ah,
last year.
that's what
And
I
I'm
yeah.
thinking that maybe if last year, because of the big move from my wood yard over to the fairgrounds, that maybe they were sticking their toe in the water first to see if it was safe to dive in last year, which literally you could because of the 3 feet of water flowing through the fairgrounds.
Yep.
Yeah. This year they brought a lot of machines. My gosh, Hudson, forestry, gosh, all the machines they brought. Wolf Ridge, Easton made, the Range Road and Typhoon dealer, that the one Dakota, who appeared on my
Yep.
channel a little bit ago, and then Joe Miller from his company down in Southern Ohio. It was there's just a lot of machines there, a lot.
That makes sense. Yeah, because like so, what
Hmm.
I saw, it looked like there was a lot of stuff there, and I suppose, like you mentioned, people who came last year, as far as manufacturers, probably then they saw the space available, and they knew this year, hey, let's load up the truck and bring it all.
Yeah. And for some of the others, I don't know. You got to know how I operate. And when I don't have assigned booths, I think some people had heartburn about that when they were showing up. But then when they saw what the plan is, I think everyone was good with it, because when you assign booths, you're assigning rigidity, and
Yeah,
then they don't know what to bring. And I told everyone space is not a problem. Bring anything and everything you want. And the design of the layout in my head and the way that we wanted to have it done last year, we couldn't because of the rain. And then the fairgrounds made us shut that one gate because their parking lots are also hayfield. They sell the hay off of it. So that's another revenue source. They didn't want us tearing up their hayfield, you know. This year was not a problem. So we had it set up the way that we wanted, and I had it set up on that racetrack. So it really didn't matter where you were going to get every person that comes through those gates walking by your booth multiple times. And I did that mall technique of anchor stores, you know, with Sears on this end and J.C. Penney on that end. So all the smaller
Yep.
stores in the middle, everyone walks by them, you know. So I
Oh
did
yeah.
that. I put Easton Made on the far end. I put Wolf Ridge because those are the two big social media draws, and it worked out. Everyone was happy. I heard not a single person complain about where their location was, or that no one walked by, you know, or they had a thin viewership or nothing.
That is the one nice thing with that layout that you have there is there isn't really there's no like dead zones or where people might not go unless they, absolutely wanted to. Like
Right.
some other shows I've been at, you can kind of notice where like there's dead zones of traffic, foot traffic.
Yeah.
And
Like at
I
the
don't think
Paul
you have
Bunyan
that.
show a couple years ago. Remember where the extra people got put up on top of that hill?
Yes. Yes.
And no, and it
No one
happened to
went up
me
there.
last year because of that rain. We had a number of people that got stuck down on that back corner. But this year, I consciously gave them prime real estate to make up for last year, if there was a problem with them. No one
Yeah.
complained, but I see things myself, and I just put myself in their
Right.
shoes. You know? Yeah.
So what about feedback from people who attended? Did you have time to like talk to people, or were you always running around pointing your finger at
Well,
stuff to be done?
yeah, I did point a lot. Okay, and that is my strong suit. Let's just be upfront and honest here. I don't want to brag, but I'm an excellent pointer. I did talk with a lot of people, and just people from YouTube, and they just wanted to hang out and shoot the breeze. Sometimes I was putting out a fire, and it's just kind of awkward because you want to talk, but you gotta put out the fire too. Everyone they liked it. I was sensitive about the date, how I pushed it back to the first weekend in June. But everyone seemed to like it. They preferred it, and they witnessed the benefit about 1 month in Northeast Ohio has on the predictability of the weather. And it was a little hot, but it wasn't too hot. The only thing that I saw that kind of was a dud was the food trucks. I don't know what it was. There wasn't a lot of people eating this weekend.
Hmm.
I had brought two more food trucks in this year because of last year. There was a long line and people were griping that they had to wait a half hour for their food. So I brought in more food trucks, but it wasn't that there was just too many food trucks. I don't think there was a lot of people eating because I didn't see a line ever at any of them. It was just always a onesie or a twosie. So
Hmm.
I don't know. I'll have to figure out this food truck thing.
Yeah, that could be tough just depending on what time of the day people show up. If they come in the afternoon, they probably already had lunch and then they're going to stay for the afternoon, go home and eat dinner. Who knows?
Yeah. Yeah. There was a new phenomenon that happened this year that I still have to figure this out as as the promoter and organizer. I would just be walking around and saying hi to everyone and thanking them for coming, the exhibitors and stuff. And I walked by this one and I'm looking at him and I saw the name of his company and I'm thinking, who are you? Yeah, I don't know who it was. He had a booth there, and I'm pretty sure he never registered. He never paid. And so I have to look into that. I don't know
Was
what
it
the heck.
something firewood related that he had in his booth? Or was
Oh
he
yeah,
thinking it was a
yeah.
flea market or something?
Well, he did, but I don't know if he was associated with another um if it was like a dealer manufacturer relationship.
Oh, okay.
I didn't dig that deep into it. I just shook my head and just kept on going. But he had machines that I don't I never heard of before. So,
Hmm.
yeah, just another blind spot. There's all kinds of blind spots out there. But, if you allow yourself to get wrapped around the axle and start splitting hairs over stuff that 100 years from now no one will ever notice, you
Yeah.
know. Yeah, but I am also not the kind of person that will, like whip out a contract and start, shaking it and stuff
Oh,
like that.
yes.
I go with the flow.
Or have them
If
sent
anyone ever, yeah, if anyone ever says the word contract to me, that conversation's over.
Well, there is. I mean, that's some of these. Like when I went to that home and garden show. I mean, there was a long list of things that you had to get done ahead of time, and you had to send in
Yeah,
proof of insurance and this and that, and state,
yeah,
sales tax report sheets, all this stuff. I mean, it became or it was a pain in the butt.
yeah. I guess I can see why,
Yeah.
but everything, every management style has its strengths and its weaknesses. And I don't care if I was building a world-class team of superheroes or a high school band or organizing a trade show. I give empowerment to the key stakeholders. This is not an expression of Joe or, Ohio Woodburner. This is a celebration. I don't even know if I give guardrails. Well, maybe paying to get in would be a guardrail.
There's one. That's
Yep.
the only one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So all I've asked was this. Let me go down this. This is off the top of my head. Register and pay. There's one. Make a donation to the raffle and maybe consider buying a t-shirt. And then I say, take as much space as you want. Like we had our Bobcats, we had a couple, that we were just using to unload people. And if people wanted to unload themselves, they are more than welcome to use it. I was talking with Andrew Easton from Easton Made. He said, he goes, there are other shows that we go to that if we have to use their Bobcat, they charge you like $400 for 30 minutes
Whew.
to rent their machine. And I just say, here it is, go use it.
Yeah.
And then it's just the culture and the character of everyone involved. Everyone just goes with it. But I'm sure there's one turkey out there that's waiting to pounce on a contractual issue. you know
What?
there's always one guy that will ruin. That's probably why we have contracts to begin with and lawyers, because all it took was one person.
As long as the
uh
contract's in their favor, then they want it.
yes. Yeah. Yeah, but
That's
that's
the
not the
key.
issue with the firewood group. There's like, I mean, they're all competitors, but they all like each other, they all help each other out. I saw people loading other people's machines, and that was nice. It was a celebration of firewood, of the industry.
Ooh. And how
Yeah,
was the raffle? I've heard I've seen a few things on
yeah.
social media about the raffle. Everyone seemed to enjoy that again this year.
The raffle was really nice. It was. And I got to thank, now I stay out of the raffle. I have nothing to do with it, but I do call out the names, at the end. And that's just for transparency and all, and especially this year because there were two big ticket items in it, and that kind of, somewhere out there in that crowd might be lurking a person ready to wave a contract up in the air, if something goes wrong. So you gotta be careful on these things. There were two high ticket items. Mike Morgan from Outdoors with the Morgans donated a Steel 362, and Scott Moritzen from Palax USA, which he's new to the industry, he donated a Steel 500i, which I guess is
Oh.
a big, powerful saw. I don't know. All I run is a Dolmar 7900, but whatever. There, so So we had the bags where you put your ticket in, to win a chance on that item, and people would buy their tickets. And the two chainsaw bags were pretty stuffed.
I was going to
Yeah.
say you probably needed a garbage bag for the 500i because of all the tickets that were going in
Yeah.
there.
Well, they were both equally as full. I don't think one was more than the other, but The 500i costs a little bit more, but either saw is dynamite saw.
Oh yeah. You
Yeah.
win a chainsaw,
And
that's, I mean, huge.
and we so we this putting on this show takes a lot of money, and I keep learning that, and then with my advertising budget this year too. But we still took the proceeds. Not, I have to use a lot of that money to help pay my bills. But we wrote a sizable check to the Trumbull Mobile Meals, and that was witnessed by Kevin from the Bionic Life, and again, an impartial person. And I think Marty from Lepo Rents, he counted out the cash from the donation jar because, Gord Potter from GP Outdoors, he made 4 International Firewood Expo ball hats, and he made a bunch of those clips. It looks like a miniature money clip, but you slide it on the bill of your hat.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I
Nice.
bought one of the hats for myself, and then we sold the other 3 hats, and then we had a donation tip jar out for the clips. So people would just throw whatever they wanted in there and they'd take one. We got rid of all them, and we took all of that cash, and that's what, Marty counted it to verify the dollar amount, and then I threw in our contribution and wrote a check to Trumbull Mobile Meals. And that's nice because I believe in that organization. My dad used it when he was in declining health. And it's, for a lot of people, it's not just the nourishment, it's not just the food, but for a lot of people, it's their only human interaction for the day. So they play a
Yep.
very large role, with a big volunteer crew.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
So now the big question.
Yes.
International Firewood Expo 2027.
Yeah, well, before we get to that part, though,
Uh-oh.
we had Kevin with the Bionic Life organized his local 4-H club, and they came the day after, and they worked, man. They helped clean up
Oh,
because
yeah.
it's not just getting all that firewood off the grounds, but all the chafe,
The cleanup.
all
Yep.
the all the chunks and the splinters, and the fairgrounds kind of, well, the one guy that mows is kind of fussy, and he'll let you know if he's hitting an occasional piece of bark with his mower. So we got to rake and clean, and I had a number of logs that were left over, and I was sunk getting those logs out. And Nathan Baird from Nathan Baird Logging sent his driver up, and we moved all of those logs off site. Had he not showed up, I would still be over there with a frown on my face.
Wow. Yeah,
Uh huh.
that's another a big part of, I think, almost equally set up and takedown cleanup.
Yeah.
All that wood that you got to load up and haul
Yeah.
around or haul back to your yard.
Yeah. Well, all the guys and gals that helped, my immediate family, everyone was there. And then, well, I'll call them my immediate family too. The guys at the wood bank. Dale, he is the hardest working man I've ever known. And he was up there all weekend long in blue jeans and chaps. And I think he's a retired roofer on top of that. So maybe he's used to this type of work. I don't know. But he just didn't stop.
Yeah, he never
My
stops.
Yeah, my friend Mark Carnes, same with him. Steve, he's just a generous, giving, nice guy. And Brian, the young man with the log truck, he was chipping in. Marty Bono, who helped me with all these bobcats. And I'm probably going to get yelled at, or hope that they don't listen to this podcast anyways, because I can't, my brain isn't working right now with all the people that helped out up there. And they were safe, and people needed logs. Dale had set up his little he has this miniature trailer and his lawnmower, and he was trucking logs around like that so they wouldn't have to use a wheelbarrow, give him a chance to sit. We had a grapple donated by Timberwolf, not for keeps but to use, and we were forking logs around the yard like that. Jack, your friend Jack,
Log cabin
uh,
firewood.
Yeah, I was going to say his last name, but I can't remember how to pronounce it. But he he was real helpful. They had like one of those little walk behind things with a big squeezy grapple on the front of it, and he was picking up splits. I had rented a big roll off dumpster, and that thing was stuffed, man. And that was a big decision there that really saved us a lot of work. Yeah. All of those guys and gals helped and labored in the sun. Friday was pretty darn hot, and no one complained except me, and no one got dizzy or faint except me. You know, it was a really nice time.
Well, again, I will. Oh,
I'm leaving out the two most important too. I call them the Boston boys,
ooh,
Jason and John. Yeah, Jason and John. So I don't know. I mean, with all of the kindness in my heart, Dan, they're kind of like two stray cats. They just last year they showed up. He sent me an email and he says, "Joe," he says, "I'm we got some free time. We'd like to come, but not only that, but we'd like to help you out." And I was like, "Yeah, come on out." And both of them, they are just two of the nicest guys, two brothers. Anything you need done, they'll do it. It doesn't matter what it is. Last year when we had to shut that gate and we had to turn a bunch of people around to go to the other gate, you know, Jason drove all the way out here from Boston to sit down at this empty gate all by himself to point at the random person that pulled in to go to the other gate, you know? And then this year, everything and anything, I had a customer, one of my delivery customers, you know, that needed wood and I couldn't because I was at the fair. Jason and John drove over there and met him at my own wood yard and filled up his trunk. You know, just anything like that
wow.
to do. Yeah. And then of course, you know, Jeff the log father came. He drove 2,000 metric miles from Nova Scotia, Dan, Nova Scotia. And he was also the generous one, whatever it was. Like I found there was a vendor or two on the far end that were there by themselves, and the bathrooms are on the other end. And Jeff would go up there and relieve them so that they could go relieve themselves.
Very
Yeah.
cool.
And
Wait,
and he worked in the wood bank, you know, he's just a nice, just a generous, giving man.
a metric mile. Do you mean a kilometer?
That is a theoretical distance.
But he does come a long ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Metric system. I mean, serious. Who uses the metric system? Gosh.
I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, so now we have a little
Okay.
time left here. Quickly,
Oh my gosh. All right.
2027. Yay, nay,
So,
maybe.
yeah. Well, when I make a hyperbolic statement, like some of this, you know, this event took years off of my life. Um, some things this year it is not hype, it's not hyperbole. It was the log situation literally took years off my life. It was that bad for me. I was under high levels of stress. I could feel it in my chest. And there were at times where I was thinking this is not worth it. Because it has to be
What am
fun.
I
You know,
doing?
yes, I'm serious. It is. We had again one of the wettest springs on record, and the log situation right now, just the way the industry is, they're not flowing into the firewood market to begin with.
Yeah.
And then you have all of this rain. The loggers cannot get into the woods. There's no wood coming out of the forest because all of their machines are sunk up to their axles. And you happen to be putting on the world's largest firewood trade show. And what would it have been like had there been no wood to make into firewood? That, and I'm not exaggerating, that was painful. I lost sleep over it. I was to the point where I was cutting up logs in my own yard and taking them over in my dump trailer. Serious. And
Ooh.
that is like, you know, like draining the ocean with a thimble, you know? But that was just anything I could do to get wood over there for those guys to split. Okay, it all eventually worked out. I had you know, a couple loggers came through for me, like that Brian kid I told you about. Nice guy. Nathan Baird and my good friend Kevin, not the bionic guy, another guy who's a logger out here. He came through for me too. Okay. That makes me think, do I really want to do this again? But then after the weekend, I was like, yeah, this is kind of cool. Whatever I can do to solve this log problem, I don't know, because what the heck, I've been selling firewood now going on almost 9 years and I still haven't got it figured out. These logs don't grow on trees, evidently. And at times I felt this year fortunate just to get any log over there. The date is important too. Like the prime date I wanted last year, I had my daughter's graduation, but then the other date it was booked at the fairgrounds. And I want to keep it at the fairgrounds. And so the answer is yes, with quotation marks around it. We got to just make sure we can have it. And I just got to get some other things figured out. I got to figure out the logs, got to figure out how to market this thing. I got to figure out the food trucks. But fortunately, we are in the greatest industry in the world with the greatest people, because whatever the problem is, they are all willing to help and go with the flow.
There's no problems. There's only solutions. You could just
those
take
things.
you could just take every load you get in from now till next year, take a few logs off it, set them aside, just a little bit
Yeah.
each time, and then like a grapple full, and then that way each load you get between now and next year, you'll have plenty
Yeah.
waiting.
Well, it's the fairgrounds. You can't put them over there. They don't
No,
want
you
them,
got room in your yard. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
Come
right.
on.
Yeah. Well, that is the problem too. I don't have enough logs at my own yard. So how am I going to get logs for the fairground? That was the whole thing I was saying. And then I kind of chuckle to myself, but I do agree that perception is out there, that people think that I'm a genius because I'm getting all of these people to make my firewood for me. And that is just 100% not accurate, because in a perfect world, I would want the perfect logs delivered to my yard so that my machine can make it in my yard so that we can stack it and move on to the next load of logs. We have these logs going across the lake, being made at a split size different than what I want, usually. Some are cut too long, some are cut too short, and then you got to load them up and bring them back. Try transporting 21 cords of firewood, with you and your helper and a dump trailer. How long is
Yeah.
that going to take you? You don't want to do that. So I got to come up, like the Paul Bunyan raffles off their firewood at the end of it. Maybe that's something I need to do too, but I do need the wood. Oh, by the way.
Yeah.
I at least was smart enough where I took my dump trailers over. I parked them under the conveyors of companies I knew that would make my kind of firewood. Yeah.
Strategic
So,
move. Strategic
yeah,
move right there.
we made a lot of fire. We had a 40-foot roll off that was heaped. We had 14 cages, IBC cages, probably, I don't know, 8 to 10 dump trailers that left with wood. I gave wood away to everyone that helped. I bartered with wood. Log hauler Jesse came in a pinch. I had no one to run the Bobcat for me. And he came over and he has that big trailer. We filled it up with wood for him.
Nice.
And then Nathan Baird saved me with getting these logs off their property. Yeah.
Well, all right. Well, it sounds like overall, though, another successful International Firewood Expo is in the books, and upcoming next year, we'll just put a little asterisk by it, like you said. Yes, possibly.
Yeah. Well, I would look for it. I think we made this analogy last year. Like after you've had a family reunion at your house, I remember when we had one for my parents at our house, I turned to my wife and I said, if we're still married at the end of this, we're never doing this again.
Never again. And then a few months
Yeah.
go by. Oh,
yeah. Then a few months go by and you're like, yeah, let's do another one.
Yeah,
And
let's
like
do it.
last year, I was like, yeah, let's do it, man. And I'm still thinking it like that too. But there's so much risk with not having enough logs, or if the weekend's a washout, because I'm serious. You should see the money that you got to spend to do this with the programs, the t-shirts, the all the logs, because I buy those logs, and the rent, and it just if the weekend is a washout, you
Yep.
know,
Oh, I know. I can imagine.
I'd be stuck with 300 t-shirts. I'd be wearing the same t-shirt for the rest of my life.
Well, you kind of do. Every time
Yeah,
I see
right.
you in a video, you have the same
Yeah.
T-shirt on anyway.
Yeah, same style. But I'd be heating my house with programs, during the winter time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh
Well,
boy.
I know one thing that won't cost you anything right now if you want to do it. Or
Oh
do you have
yeah.
any other closing thoughts before the band here?
Uh, Maybe we can take it on to our next episode of the Woodhounds podcast.
Sounds good.
All right. What I was thinking of though, Dan, maybe we could strike up the band.
Strike it up. Yes, indeed. There we go. It's not the high school band. It's just the band.
The band.
It's
Yep.
struck. So
All
thanks
right.
everyone for tuning in to the Woodhounds, the #1 firewood podcast in the world.
Yeah. Thank you for everyone. If you came to the expo, or if you watched videos of it, or if you came in spirit, thank you. Thank you. It was a great time, and let's try to do it again. So let's tell everyone out there, Dan, to come to.
The International Firewood Expo 2027.
There you go. And try to.
I don't know. Bring some logs.
Yeah. And have
A great day.